It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness.
All right. Big thanks to the Travel Bugs for the music and our featured patrons, UDAC, the Dig Family, JB Opto, GeoVet91. Well, I should wait. JB Opto HOF Hall of Fame. GeoVet91, Nitty Gritsky, E-Ray Bowl, Hoffer15, H2SG2, Bimber, the Happy Hodag, and our returning patrons, Geocaching Adam and Master Sergeant USMC, as well as Oil Bear 125, who are back. Also, new patrons Thumper G and TX Care Bear and Gas Station Tuna. Gotta love me some Gas Station Tuna, right, guys?
There you go.
First thing I go for.
Oh, yeah.
If you'd like to become a patron, click on the Become a Patron link on the front page of the Geocache Talk website, or head on over to patreon.com/Geocache Talk for more details. Patrons get the now famous blackout coin.
There we go.
Zach? Yes, sir.
Oh, there we go. 3 in a row. I like it.
You didn't know I would get that.
I know.
Well, and you guys know the famous code is GTNC0W.
It's funny. I think all night I'm going to be stopped. Don't. Oh, it's fine. You can do it now. It's okay. Give that code again. What the heck?
Read it again. All
Right.
right.
Right. Why not? Go ahead. I don't care.
GTNC0W.
Let's see who.
C0W.
Cow, like the animal, like moo.
Yep.
Like that.
How'd you get that one? That's a cool one.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the geocache. Yeah, I'm the Geocache Talk Network cow.
No. All right.
Ooh, Dire Wolf said, shouldn't mine be called Zackables?
Zackables? Ooh. I like that. Wait, don't give him any ideas, Dire Wolf.
Oh, you know what you're in for tonight.
That's right. Yeah.
Puns on puns on puns.
Puns. Bonus content. We've got
bonus content right now.
Yeah, really. We're on bonus content at the moment. Bonus content. We have a whole other podcast that goes on for patrons. I think that's cool. We had a lot of fun, and we got another. Jesse? What we do? We're putting those out every Monday night. I think
I think so. Yeah.
It's audio, so we don't want to interrupt. Hashtag geocaching hour.
Right. You can be listened to it anytime during the week. It's not live.
Yeah, but just for patrons.
It's a chance for me to turn the tables on Gary a lot.
Yeah.
I always know what's going to happen. So
I've done that the last
couple
weeks. Well, hey, come right back at you, buddy. Invites to special events only for patrons. Support level start at as little as Bison Tube level, which is $3 a month. That's it. Let me welcome my co-host, Jesse.
Good evening, and I'm very happy to be here tonight because we get to blow off some steam and get to talk to an old friend. So this is great.
That's right. Amen. We've got a lot of great stuff tonight. We're going to show a video. We're going to talk about a cool part of the game. It'll be fun. Our sponsor tonight is Pink Sweet Designs. So Jesse, if you would pull that up, and while you're pulling that up, I will mention about Pink Sweet Designs. There you go. Thank you, my friend. Pink Sweet Designs, creating the right style that fits your designs. Tell them that we sent you. Geocache Talk sent you. It is pinksweetsdesigns.com. It'll be in the show notes. But I'll make a banner for it real quick. Show them some love. They did our... Show it real quick.
You got the path tag? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They did our path tags, which I think
great too.
They are really cool. In fact, I ordered some more, so We will whenever we get them, we'll have them. But I really like their designs. Actually, I think it was you, Jess. You sent them an idea. That's all we had. We didn't have any. I mean, we just had no. I think, or was it Angie that did it? I don't remember. It's been too long. I've slept since then.
Yeah.
Anyway, someone in the network or one of us had come up with that. And
Angie and I were sketching things out. She may have been the one that sent it in, though.
Yeah. So we sent it to them, and then they designed it. So cheaply, very cheaply. We got to pay for the services but she's very reasonable. She'll take care of all the details. Like if you've never done a path tag before, there's some details that you probably don't know about.
Yeah, we've actually done one for us personally outside of the show, and we're terrible because we've had it designed for a long time. I've never actually ordered it.
Oh, really? Oh, my.
Well, we keep planning on ordering right before Omega, and, well, right now, I don't even want to talk about that, right? But things keep coming up, but we're going to just order it anyway and keep them here. Yeah. I'm just so bad. I just hand them out like candy, though, so I never keep them for very long. I'm just like, here, everybody gets path tags.
Yeah, everybody. But, yeah. So there you go. There's our sponsor for tonight, Pink Sweet Designs. Thank you so much, Pink Sweet Designs. Tell her, order from her, and she will sit you up right because she does a great job. So there you go.
Look at this. There's already a story told on Zach. The last time we were having trouble finding one of SoDak's caches, I find it, sent him a message, and he got right back to us, even though it was his wedding day.
Wow,
Zach, you're a brave man.
That's like that's almost like for a whole.
I did a tree climb on my wedding day. Yeah.
You found a cache on your wedding day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did a tree climb on my wedding day.
That's dedication. And she's still with you, or at least I think she's still with you. Is she back there?
Yes, somewhere? She is.
Okay, good.
She's I think she's watching Seinfeld in the basement.
You told her we were going to be on, and she just left as fast as she could.
Yep.
No, that's awesome. So let's jump to some news. Well, let's go back and be formal about it. This is show 192.
Yep.
So we welcome back to the show Zach Fick, SoDakZak.
Sodak back.
He's back. Zach is back. He's part of the Geocache Talk network. We thank you so much. Thank you, Zach, for being on tonight.
So you got to give his full title, though. He's also the creator and producer of Tangled. You got to make sure you see that part of it, too.
We'll get to that.
Look at that. I know. But that's part of his title. That's,
I guess it is part of his title, Tangled.
Right.
There you go. I guess
have a couple on hand.
I guess those are available still to purchase there, Zach?
Yes. Got a whole stack right there on my table yet.
Tangled the game.
We can talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, tangledcardgame.com.
Are you still doing push-ups if we ask you to?
Oh yeah. Still doing push-ups. Actually, now it's running miles. So
right, yeah, because you just did a marathon too, right?
Yeah, actually the game went viral. So we're still backlogged with all the orders from that. Had about 800 orders come through because 2.4 million views on TikTok of just
oh my gosh,
some guy playing it and with his family, and
that is.
Then he redirected it to us, and all of a sudden I'm just at work one day, and my phone starts blowing up with money being sent, and I'm like, "Well, where's this coming from?"
It's rolling up as fast as it can.
It's crazy how it happens nowadays. Joshua's been on TikTok a lot recently, and I think he said the other day it took him like 10 years to get to 50,000 followers on YouTube, and it took him like a month on TikTok, and he had like 8 million followers on one of it, or 8 million likes or whatever on one of his. That's crazy.
It's insane. We are going to talk about TikTok one night, but Tom wanted us to do the whole Oprah thing. You get a copy of the book, you copy the game, and you get a copy of the game, and you get a copy of the game. But we're not doing
It's already on back order as it is.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. I could maybe sneak if we wanted to do a drawing, I could probably sneek a deck to someone if we wanted to.
Direwolf's taking
trying to give stuff away.
Took a shot at you. Right now is not the time to play the game, by the way.
No, probably not. Well, with your family.
Yeah, actually, that that's the main thing. Is I'm happy that right now we can focus on getting all of them printed and then like packaged and ready to ship out. And then we actually are going to be including like a little note in there just saying, hey, feel free to play this with people in your house, but respect the social distancing guidelines. But we might do a bigger campaign once we get these shipped out and everything, where it's kind of like maybe this fall, it's kind of more of a let's bring everyone back together again, literally, with Tangled.
No kidding. That's going to be so. Can you imagine the parties and the celebrations that are going to happen when all this Corona stuff is behind us and we can get out and actually see our friends again? That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it'll be great. Yep.
Terraviators is in the chat room, so I wanted to shout out to Terraviators with
your huge mug.
My huge mug. Wait, we should be. I never see the other side. It's a problem with a left-handed mug. I'm not right-handed. This is the way you're supposed to. So I don't do that. So I do it backward because I'm left-handed. I'm backwards. So, yeah. Thank you, sir. That mug is huge. We talked about that at Texas Challenge. I miss Texas Challenge. Can we go back? We had so much fun.
Yeah.
Back before.
They go down.
Yeah. Can we go back down and do it again? I mean, come on. As April jumped in there, I do need to mention something. April has a blog post.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bring that up, Jesse, and you can talk about it a little bit as we both.
So she's talking about logging, and without giving away the whole thing, she's got some great tips in there about cut and paste logging, and it's not the evil thing that some people say it is, but there's some ways to add some really good information to your report. And I am absolutely going to adopt that template. I don't know why I've never done that before in my professional life. Everything is done by templates and, conditions, actions, and needs reports. And I've never thought about bringing that over to geocaching. Everybody needs to go read that. I guarantee you can learn something from this blog post. It's great.
April does great blog post. Thank you, April. Yes.
I cannot believe I've never thought of doing that before. I just, we learn something new all the time. That's what's so cool about a game that's really driven by people is you keep learning things all the time.
Yeah.
Just when you think you know everything, you're embarrassing yourself. So,
well, it does take a community. I mean, we learn so much. We learn so much from others, and I love the blog post we've had. And if you want to submit a blog post, please do.
Absolutely.
I will mention that the Geocache Talk blog wants your geocache relating stories and insights. Please contact Angie, aka GeoJangie, and I'll put her email down here at the bottom so you can contact her.
Well, and now's the perfect time, right? Let us know how you're passing the time, especially if you're in one of the lockdown states. Let us know how you're passing the time, what you're doing in geocaching, how to stay sane in this crazy pandemic that we're going through.
Yes. Send her your blog post. Even if you have like a partial blog post and you feel like I can't submit that, it's not done. Talk to Angie, send her what you have, and she will work with you and help you get it all straightened out, and then it can be posted. So don't be intimidated by the unbelievably great blogs. I'm sure your blog is good too. It just maybe needs a little refinement, or if it's ready to go, that's awesome as well. So send us your blog post, send them to our blog manager and social media manager, Angie Go West, all one word, JangieGoWest @gmail.com for our audio listeners. And that'll be awesome. All right.
So you want to hit the upcoming shows because once we start talking, we're going to get way off topic.
Yeah, I want to do some upcoming show news, and then we are going to get started. So this Tuesday, for all the talking about Tangled, we're going to do GC World.
Yep.
I've got my copy because I'm not playing, so I can use the cheat copy.
Yeah, don't trust him. He's got a marked copy.
I got a marked copy. So we're going to play GC World, and looking forward to that. We already have our 4 players. If you would like to play along at home, you can. If If you want to root for someone during the game, you can. We have prizes that we're going to give out. I don't know how we're going to do it, randomly, something or other, but
we'll find a way.
We'll find a way. But there's all the cool parts of the game. Oh, these are the cards you want to get right here. You want to get a gadget card. Yes, sir.
I figured out how we could do the giveaway for Tangled tonight on the show.
Oh, you want to give away one? Okay, cool. I'm up for it.
Yeah, for the people in the chat room.
Yeah, you tell me.
If they can figure out what the connection between Tangled and is.
Ooh, okay.
Do you remember what I'm thinking?
Oh gosh, maybe. I'll let you. I'll keep an eye on the.
Has to do with something about the production side of things.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
I do. So looking forward to that. So
here you go. Can we place bets on who will win? I'm sure that's probably illegal somehow, but we can do it anyway. It'll be fun.
Vegas. If you go to an offshore place, Starwolf, you could bet it's out there. Players
Tangled and GC World. People are asking in the chat room what the two games are.
Yeah.
What's your game and my game? What's the production connection?
Tangled and GC World.
Oh.
You want to give away?
Let us hear that second part. So just explain that one more time for people that didn't hear it, Zach.
Yeah, so GC World and Tangled had something in the production of it that they share a common thing.
Nope.
What is it?
Not correct, but I'll keep an eye on the chat room. Well, I guess that's true, Tom, but that's not really what we're going for. But thank you, my friend.
Yeah.
He gets the technically correct
way around.
So real quick, while we're doing that,
shows coming up.
Yeah, that's Tuesday.
Oh.
Wednesday, we have a new Geocaching with Kids. It's episode 4. So that'll come out Wednesday morning. That's an audio only. Next Sunday is still a TBD. I'm working on a cool show for that. But then we have Gadget Talk a week from Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be an interview with DJ W. House. Looking forward to that, Dave Wagner. And that's going to be fun. And then a week from Wednesday, we have another Geocache Talk Presents. Will also be presented. It's an audio only. That's on April 15th.
Mm-hmm.
So get your taxes in and then listen to Geocache Talk Presents. Or wait, I don't think you have to put your taxes in yet. And then in 2 weeks, April 19th, show 194, we do have a very special show that we have put together. Really looking forward to that. I hope all the pieces to that one come together.
Yeah, we'll see.
Parts of it have come
things
together.
are crazy right now, so
it is, but I feel really confident that whole special show is going to work out. So, and yes, just to finish out, we are on show 194, which means show 200 is coming up, and yes, that's going to be night. So there you go.
Kind of like Cool Adventure Labs. I think we can definitely do that.
Cool Adventure Labs. That's a fun one to talk about. We've both done Adventure Labs recently. Zach, did you do Adventure Lab yet or not yet?
I have one, and I'm currently making it.
Working on it. Okay, there you go. Perfect.
Yep.
Cool.
Stay tuned.
All right.
Yeah, mine were made and released, and then Corona happened, and mine are in the library that has been closed for weeks. So, oops.
Whoops.
Not getting a lot of fines on that one right now.
No, and especially right now. But you know what? I think you guys should all go climb a tree, or at least that's our topic tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, you people go climb a tree. Remember that? That's an old man.
Go play in a street. That's what my parents said.
Yeah, go play a street. That's an old man thing to say. Hey, go climb a tree. Ooh. But we are going to talk about tree climbing and bridge climbing and gutter climbing, and I don't know what else. That sounds kind of weird. But anyway,
Gutter climbing.
go chase a parked
You're gonna
car.
get me in trouble with the wife.
It's a good one with King Trail 5. All right, so why don't you guys sort of jump in and get us going?
Well, Zach, you're kind of known for some of the crazy antics you've done. So why don't we just start that way? And what's probably the craziest cache find you've ever had?
Oh boy,
He's got
craziest cache find. I mean, I'd have to say kind of just one that caught me off guard because just kind of all encompassing because it kind of had everything. I took a road trip with my family down to it was down to Missouri. And so I got like 8 or 9 states in one day just because of the ping ponging down I-29. And so we head down there and we get to my brother-in-law's parents' place in southwestern Missouri. And that night we get there, everyone unpacks the stuff from the car. They're super tired. And I'm like, we are only a 2.5-hour drive from Arkansas.
Right. Only
after driving that whole way. So I decided to hijack the car and just told them like, I'll be back in the morning. I'll just sleep in and see you guys for lunch, basically. So I drive down there, cross the border into Arkansas. It's like, pitch blackout right before midnight. And I'm like, I'll just get the first cache across the border or one of the first caches. And when I was there, whether it was active or whatever, I think there's a few more closer now, but the main one was actually a 5.5 that hadn't been found in forever.
Wow.
And I get there, and if people are familiar with the, what's the city that Walmart's from that's up there?
Oh, Bentonville.
Bentonville. Yep, Bentonville. Like that area north of there, they have they're like sandstone cliffs. So like I've done a lot of rock climbing and I've done a lot of stuff on, solid rock. And now I'm out there at, near midnight climbing on this gravel cliff face. No one with me, no one knowing that didn't even know where I was or anything. Just climbing up this crevice. And it was a cache that had DNS for like 2 or 3 years or something at the time. Or it didn't. I found that out when I opened it, though, that the last name on it was from several years before. So I find this thing, and I open it, and the name that's the most recent signature, and there had only been a few signatures on there. The most recent was, at the time, the geocacher that lived closest to me in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
South Dakota. Whoa, that's freaky.
Yeah, so just like that was just like a crazy, because it was a crazy day end of it. It had a crazy climb where it's like a crevice where your like hands and feet are on each side, and it's kind of like the Emperor's New Groove when he's climbing up the up the cliff. And anyway, so I made the find, and it was great. That whole area. They actually have an earth cache trail there that you can do.
Jesse?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Your ears perk up. Makes you want to travel, doesn't it?
He doesn't hate him as much as he says he does.
Well, right now it's kind of hard because you don't have to touch anything. So
that's right. Well, you never know. There are some, but you're right.
Yeah, I have to admit, I got 3 this weekend. So
yeah, I think we have a winner, by the way.
I love earth caches. I love them. They're so great.
Thanks, Jesse. Appreciate that.
Man, the official opinion.
I think we have. Tell me. I think I've in this thing. Isn't that the right answer, Zach?
No, actually, I did see. I was going to mention Jinx had it.
Okay.
Jinxer 05.
Yeah, I guess
they had way up there. Designed. Same designer.
That's it. Not manufacturer, but designer. Yeah, you're right.
Correct.
Jinxer 05, you're the winner. Bing, bing, bing. All right.
All right.
Wait, you didn't take them away? Did you take away my? Did you take away my stuff?
I don't know what happened to it.
Okay, enough of that.
So
Way to go, Jinxer. You won. I got her info, Zach. So I'll give it to you after the show. You can send her a copy.
Perfect. Thank you.
You bet.
So that's probably the craziest. But you've found and you've documented some of yours on YouTube, right? But you've done a few other ones that you kind of, don't do this at home, kids, kind of caches.
Yep.
Yeah, that's important to mention right off the top. Don't you guys think? Is that if you're not comfortable doing a climb of any kind, don't do it.
Yeah, don't do the stuff Zach does.
Well,
yeah, don't do that.
You can if you're in great shape and if you feel like that you're taking the risk. It's your own risk. You can do what you want, but
because they're everywhere. So anywhere you can imagine a cache being, there's somebody's probably put one there, and people go after them. And you should only go after it either when you know how to do it, you have a team member, or you're just insane.
Yeah, you have to be real careful.
Yep.
Yeah, just people can get hurt. I'm sure you've been hurt as well, right, Zach?
I actually haven't yet.
No.
Oh, great. You think that?
But that's anecdotal. Don't.
Yeah. I've been pretty lucky too. I've gotten a few scrapes and bruises and a little bit of blood, but nothing major. Smacked my face on the side of the bridge before, but never knocked unconscious or had to go to the hospital. So
whatever you do, never try to steal Mingo. That's very bad.
Especially
am I the only person to steal Mingo, right? And
especially with the shirt off and get away with it.
Shirt off, -40 degrees, and your car's locked and rolling away from you.
Yeah.
That would have been really bad, although it would have been a very cold walk.
And embarrassing.
To the interstate.
Or you could have gone the other way, by the way. If you're at Mingo and you do have your shirt off and it's 14 degrees out and you lock your car, don't walk toward the interstate. Walk the opposite direction about a mile. And down there's a church. You could probably, get down there and maybe find some information and call them, and they'll come, get you some warm clothes or something.
Yeah.
Except for my phone was filming in my car.
Oh,
dang it!
And Gary, I'm sure that the Mingo Bible Church wants you sending naked people to their.
They probably don't.
I'm sure they're going to thank you for that.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Not fully naked. Please do not.
But
they're good people. They'll take you in.
But there's our short disclaimer, because you know what, it's all on your own anyway. Do what you think you're comfortable with. But short disclaimer: Zach's crazy, and we're going to go over some of the crazy stuff he does tonight. That doesn't mean everybody should do that.
Yeah, should we go roll to the video? Because I don't think people realize that you've done some crazy stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Free climbing isn't for everyone, but avert your eyes if you're.
Yeah, Eric's in the chat room. He can tell us a little bit about that. He's in the video as well.
Probably witnessed a few of your antics as well. So
yeah, so let me pull that up.
He'll be the one that ends up taking her someday.
That's right.
Man, I'm so young.
All right, here we go.
Look at that young single guy.
And we're just gonna head over here and get to climbing. Hey, Eric, you think you're going to do it?
I don't think so.
Eric's like, okay, I never noticed this before, but there's people going by. Did you notice that?
Yeah, they're longboarding.
So for the audio, you really should check into this video, because Zach is climbing up the side with no ropes of a bridge that, how high is that? That's
the middle I know they've said is 70 feet above the water below, so I'm guessing it's 45, 50 feet.
And you're just climbing up the outside of a at least 3 or 4 foot wide beam.
I-beam.
Yeah.
You're up pretty high at that point.
Yep.
Yeah, it does look like Spider-Man.
I'm not gonna get there. Back down he comes.
Yeah, just sliding.
Yep.
Wow.
All right, guys. I think the best way to go about it is start here and walk all the way out there.
Oh, interesting. Oh my gosh, no way.
Yeah.
That is kind of insane. So now you're going to walk out on the I-beam.
Eric shakes he shook the, oh, okay. Well, there's kind of a way to do it, but very carefully, I guess. Yeah, he was shaking the camera. He's like, no thanks.
Yep.
What do they always say? It's something like, I always have 3 points, either 2 hands and a foot or 2 feet and a hand.
I live by the 2 point at least.
Yeah, but you don't want to do 2 point too often. You want to.
No, yeah. I've only had a few 1 point climbs in my life. I'm going to talk about one of those coming up.
Okay.
So now you're 70 feet high easily, standing on a beam, nothing holding you on there.
Yeah, well, you can tell because Eric, that's not the camera. That's the camera zoomed in.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No hands dancing.
Yeah.
You found it, though.
So
I wonder how many times that cache has been found.
At least you didn't forget your pen. So
Yeah.
Walk all the way back. That's insane. We're watching the video of Mr. SoDakZak all the way out at the end of the thing. Eric is taping from a safe distance away. Look how far away.
Yeah, you can see him zooming out there.
Zooming out.
now, what was this cache rated?
This
2?
was, I think it was a 4.5, 5.
So you're just the exception of the rule. You didn't use any equipment. You just used your own 2 feet.
So the GC for this is, well, actually, maybe you guys have the.
Yeah, we can put it in there.
I didn't look up the Geocache Talk letters, but GC2JGN7.
That's funny. J is Jasmer.
That's in. Yeah, it's in Mankato. So the main. Point with that was when I first went and did it. Up to that point, there had only been 2 or 3 finds on it, and it was all people with like rappelling equipment that went over the edge of the bridge and then under, and so they could just dangle there and everything. So when at least one person I think has done it.
Did you drop your hat in the video?
He did.
Yeah. I was hoping that I could stuff like some jeans and a jacket or something, like a scarecrow, and toss it off.
Fall down. It comes down. But that was smart though. You found a really good solution. You know, I think that's something too that at least I can contribute tonight is the fact that I've been with people who are like Zach. They're smart. They go up. They might try something, but then they're like,
idiots.
No. You're good. You found a good solution because there's sometimes I've been at some of those bridges where you're like, there's a really hard way to do it, and then if you stop and look at it a little bit, you're like, wait a minute, what if we did it from the opposite side? And you're like, oh yeah, from the opposite side, it's much easier. So, that was smart. You basically, I mean, really. The way you did it made a lot of sense and was really a way that I think a lot of people could probably do that as long as you're careful.
Mm-hmm.
You could, but would you? It's not whether you could or not because he just walked out there, but it's whether you would or not. Walk 70 feet high, unassisted, with no safety harness or anything like that. A lot of people won't do that.
No.
The crazy thing on a bridge that size, by the way, is like, when you're on it, how much that thing actually moves.
Mm-hmm.
And then cars are on top of it, and it's like, all right, let's just wait for this thing to pass.
Yeah.
So now, have you ever come up with something like that and decided, you know what, I'm not going to do it today?
No, on the if there's absolutely any way of climbing it. I've come to things that I'm like, well, it's a high terrain that requires a ladder and I don't use ladders, but like you get there and then it's like, well, it's 40 foot of smooth concrete. Well, there's nothing to climb. Your only option is a ladder. So I have come to a couple of those before, but even then I think there was the best one of those that I did. That's actually probably one of my top geocaching moments was it was a bridge piling that stuck out. It was about 20 feet from the ground to the ledge, and it was just perfectly smooth at a slight angle.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did is I just, stood back 50 feet, ran as fast as I could, and then just ran up the side of it and then planted my foot and jumped off and reached up and just by my fingertips grabbed both hands up there and then pulled myself up. And it was just an ammo box sitting on that.
Nice.
And I think that was down at the by Manhattan, Kansas there.
Yeah.
When we were down there.
For Moga?
Mm-hmm.
Do that when we were all there for Moga. That was fun.
Yeah, because I got out there and there was no ladder around or anything. So
Right.
That's what Direwolf said. That's what I was just about to say. American Ninja Warrior style.
Absolutely. Couple others I want you to comment on.
absolutely.
Tell us about this one. Tree climb at the cabin. GC 638. Is that an O or a zero? This is 0. 630. 6308. G is in ground, which you started from, but it went up the tree. So tell us a little bit about that one. I'm going to pull that one up. I want to hear about this one.
Yeah, so that one's at my cabin. And if you guys would, those in the chat room, write that down, get up there as soon as possible, because that's one of the loneliest caches in Minnesota.
Oh, wow.
And then especially by the, not loneliness index, but where they divide the total time it's been out by the number of finds.
Yeah.
It's only been found twice in 5-6 years.
Wow.
And one of the first find, the FTF, was Geocache Doc or GC Doc.
GC Doc, yeah.
Did it for a video.
There it is, called Scandia Shore.
Yep.
So explain to us why only 2 people have found it in all these years.
I mean, you can read the description. I'm pretty blunt, where it's like, this is a climbing cache. It's on private property owned by my family. But I think the private property psychs people out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can see the GC Doc. Yeah, this is going on 4 years now. And a lot of people just drive by and see what they're up against and decide not to do it. So, so there's even a video showing it, how it can be found and where it is exactly.
Right.
The funny thing with the video is the GC Doc, because he moved up near there, and this was when he was still really active with filming and everything. And he said, I'd love to come up and try that FTF for a video. And I said, great, I'd love to meet you and do that. Anyway, so he shows up. I had a ladder to help get him up to the first branch and everything. And he gets to climb and he's looking around, filming his video and everything. And I'm just excited that he's there, excited to be a part of that. And then there
you go.
There's nothing too particularly hard about what it looks like there. The problem is I'm lighter than the average cacher, and I put it just a little out of my own reach.
Wow. Dang,
it's pretty high up there. It's the tallest tree, so when you're up there, you can see all the way to the horizon. So
wow.
But anyway, so he gets up there in whatever tree he starts in, and he's looking. He's like, it's not there. And I'm like, it can't be missing. I secured that thing like crazy. It's a purple bison tube. And he comes down, and it had been like a year since I had hit it. And anyway, so then I end up going up there and checking, and sure enough, it's not there.
Oh, man.
And so I'm like, how did this thing go missing? Because this thing was like wire wrapped around this thing to the branch. And, so I come down, and then I look over, and I'm like, I was up in the tree, and I look over, and you can see the bison tube there in the tree next to me.
Oh no.
So I had forgotten which tree I had hit it in. So it made for a good video and everything. But we came back down, and he went up and got it, and got his name signed and everything. But no, that one's just kind of a fun one as far as hides go. Just just because of the story there, and it's in a video. I can't believe it's in a video that has all these views from a lot of them Minnesotans, and
Found twice,
and they it still only has the 2 finds on it, even though there's all the proof in the world of where it is. And so, yeah, it's kind of off the beaten path in Minnesota.
Sure.
And it's on private property and a high DT. So going by the main road there is the Paul Bunyan Trail, which has 1,200 quick grabs that people, if they're up in that area, they would rather do that than go get one rare DT. We're not all Memphis Mafias up there.
So that brings up a good point, right? So when you hide a cache like this, you have to know that you're going to get a handful of finders throughout its lifetime, as opposed to like you've got another series I think we're going to talk about tonight, but that's going to get a lot more attention because people typically, there are segments that do it. You and I like these type of caches, but there are segments of people that do it, but you're going to get a handful of people on these high DTs, whereas, you know, the one on the side of the road is going to get hit 3 times a week.
Yep.
That's just something you kind of have to know, right? When you're hiding a cache like that.
Exactly. And I try to, you know, put steroids on the cache as much as I can with you know, I know all the challenges that are out there. So if there's certain old challenges where you have to have a certain word in the title, or you need parentheses or an ampersand. Typically not on that one necessarily, but we can talk about a different one that I'm doing. There's a bridge in the middle of nowhere, and I forget what it's called, but it basically has like a saint in the title and parentheses and ampersand and
they had all
welcome to
All
like
the
everything. And it's in the middle of nowhere, and it's a tough bridge climb. And the DT it's not a 5.5, it's, you know, a rarer DT than that. So it's like, I know all the ways that you can just make it so that it's so appealing, but you got to go earn it.
That is a good idea. You know, that's we found one time kind of like that, where you're talking about, where we didn't think twice about it, but I know the person that hit it. It was like, well, they added a strange letter or number, and it was like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. That is a good thing to do, because people are trying to fill out a grid, you know, and so that's really cool. But all right, we're moving on. Let me ask you about this one.
Yeah, so that's the one I was just talking about with the name. And that one, actually, I just got a call on today. That's why I added it. I kind of forgot that was out there. Cool. Eric, who's in the chat, and then Vulcan, another cacher in our area, are the only ones to find it. And that one's it's above, during a lot of parts of the year, the river below it is moving pretty quickly. And it's a bridge climb that, even just with how you have to like contort your body to swing under it to get onto the piling, once you're into the lattice structure underneath, you're good to go. But that one, the concrete kind of sticks out further than the lattice structure, so it's like you're holding on with like a pull-up where your hands are like that.
Oh, okay.
And then you swing your body, like you lift your body underneath, and so you have to maintain those 3 points of contact and make a blind grab to get underneath. And, you know, that's a fun one. Once you're down there, it's pretty self-explanatory, except for you better have chosen the right piling, because if you don't, you got to do that same grab again on the other one. So that one's just a fun one. Yeah.
We were talking about, for audio listeners, bridge in the middle of nowhere. It's GC71 Query Multi 2. It's not a multi-cache, but QM2 Query Multi.
Now, is that a traditional cache that you hid?
I believe so, yeah.
I've noticed that ups it a little bit too. If you're going to have one of those high DTs and you want to bring a few more people out, if you make it like a letterbox, that makes it even more rare, or multi or something like that. Not a puzzle, because there's those are a dime a dozen sometimes, but you do one of those rare DT types, and sometimes that'll bribe people to get out there and try it too.
Yeah, so when I hid that, I think Eric and I were just doing a bunch of out in the country runs, and we happened to come across that bridge. And I just asked him, like, hey, can you spot me? Like, I'm going to go make this hide here. And I think the day we were caching was also a day that didn't exist in Eastern South Dakota for dates you can get.
Oh gosh.
So I was like, we need to hide a cache today. And so we just had like a key holder and everything. Otherwise, yeah, I typically try to make them puzzle or letter boxes or multi-caches on a lot of those random DTs.
I think before we go too much further, because we are going to talk about more ticks. No, we're not about tick magnets in the chat room, but tips and tricks tonight. I did want to mention your Fizzy Grid. I think that's a good time to talk about that with some other folks. As far as I'm going to bring it up and show everybody, but this is an interesting area. It's in South Dakota, right? Not too far from.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Let me bring up the screen because then you can kind of talk about it, make it easier on you for you. That so.
I've still got to go out there and get this one. This trail.
Hang on.
Not trail. It's not a trail, but
yeah.
It's funny too while you're pulling that up. Oddly, or conversely, one of my most extreme trips, like Zak's, was the opposite. I ended up in South Dakota. We went for several days, and we actually got to meet Zak, and that was part of a crazy road trip. But it's the opposite of Zak's. I went up to South Dakota instead. So that was just funny that you mentioned that road trip and got to get the famous unicorn farts, which is probably not getting a lot of love right now.
No.
Well,
no.
Maybe. Nobody's finding it, I'm sure, yeah.
I don't know if unicorn farts can spread the Rona.
yeah, I don't think so. I think they're safe. So this is interesting. I remember when you talked about making this, and it's really cool. So if anybody is into Fizzy Grids or Fizzy Loops, TO2, you need to be listening. I think he's aware of it. He's probably already done all these.
Yeah, he already came up and did it. He actually took me out for a drink afterward, and
very nice.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
that's part of the rules of this Fizzy, right? That you have to take you out for a drink afterwards.
Yep.
That's one of the additional logging requirements.
So if people are not familiar with Fizzy Grid, it is 81 because there are 81 possible entries in the Fizzy Grid. Fizzy Grid being the difficulty 1 to 5 with 1.5, 2.5, etc. Terrain, same way, up to 5, 1.5 to 2.5, 3, etc. There's 81, and Zak created 81 caches out here, and they're all labeled all the way up to 81. 81 being the 5.5. So really, if you're really looking, if you're missing, say, the 4.5, there you go. You can go do that one, or if you want to do all of them, there they all are. It's a fun idea. I liked how you did the whole grid and made a little grid on the. It's a neat idea. So,
and since this one was hidden by Zak, we know it's not a cheater Fizzy.
Now, now, why would you say that? You know he wouldn't do something like that.
Well, I know Zak wouldn't, but I know there's a lot of them out there.
So you're
I worked hard to, find, you got to bring your waders, maybe a canoe if you want to get it in the springtime. You got to bring those bolts to climb signs for some, for terrains. You got to do a bunch of free climbing in the trees, or somehow get some crazy long extension ladders and everything. It kind of has a little bit of everything. I get a lot of great feedback on all the puzzles just because there's such a variety of them. I tried to make it so that as you walk through all, 1 to 81, each one progressively gets harder than the last, but they're all completely different. So you might get stuck on, the 12th one, but then hit a streak of them that you can solve no problem. But you generally know about how difficult it should be. Dire Wolf, they are all 81 within the 2 mile radius there.
Within 2 miles.
Yep. The hardest thing was you almost have to hide them high train, and that's actually why it's a mirror image. if I had done it where the 1-1 was the top left corner.
Right.
There just wasn't any options for T4.5s and T5s along there, because that's like the roads along there are finished paved roads where they've cleared out the ditches, for it to be a bigger road.
Very cool.
But as you get further out into the country, there's some, crazy big ditch trees that don't have branches for a long ways that you got to figure out a way to get up. And they're still out there, still good to go. People usually work on the puzzles over winter, and then come spring, come summer, they make a trip up here, and I try to get back to everyone as quickly as possible in the messages. We also have a Fix Fizzy Facebook page where people share tips and tricks on that. So
very cool.
It took a ton of planning. Yep. It took 2 years from when I initially reserved the GC codes for all 81. The hiding wasn't too terribly bad. The hard thing is clicking and doing every step for every cache page, as anyone that's done a geo art knows.
Oh yeah. So somebody's asking for the GC. What's the
I've got
one for them to look up?
I've got one
in the notes as well, but
here you go. One of them is GC6JB.
Oops, go ahead.
JB48. That's one of them, and then there's others too. So.
Yep, that's the 1-1.
That's
and
right.
That'll get you the first one.
Get you started.
Somebody said they like the tree hanging out over the water. I'm assuming that's one of them.
Oh,
yep.
Oh, tick magnet. Yeah.
So probably sometime like right now would be a great time to go through and solve all those 81 when a lot of people can't get out and actually do the caching. So now is a perfect time to be solving puzzles. I'm sure many of the people listening tonight are solving all kinds of puzzles.
Yep.
It is a good one to do.
Yeah.
A good thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least taking a look at them and
solve all the puzzles now. And then
Mm-hmm.
get together with everybody in that Facebook group. And as soon as everything gets opened back up, plan a big trip up there, and everybody can go up there and work together and go through all 81. That would be quite a community celebration event.
Yeah. You can make
emerging from the corona.
So are there any special tots that you would suggest for that Fizzy grid, or
extension ladder, waders, and
kayak?
I mean, your typical grabber poles. Kayak, just if you don't come in the spring, I think the hip waders should be able to get you there. But like
enough, okay.
Like Memphis knows, last year, the spring we had last year, the water never went down. I had to replace so many and figure out different ways to tie things down. Because I mean, I have culvert caches that I got pictures of people where there's only this, it's a huge culvert.
Mm-hmm.
And they have they're like in the movies with the water up to their neck.
Right.
And they just decided that they were going to wade through it. And I'm like, do you know where this runoff is coming from?
Wow.
I think maybe they started the Rona.
Burnt will say he lucked out during the first week of December. Not too much snow, no wet dishes. So he got lucky.
Yeah, they came through, and thanks again for the donut event that they had while they were up there. That was awesome.
Oh, nice.
So here's one by Tick Magnet. Can you tell us what he's talking about?
Bolts?
Yeah, so that's the 3/8 inch in diameter by 8-inch bolts, or 10-inch if you want. Those stick through the sign. You get 2 of those, and you can walk up signs.
Wow!
Just like it's a ladder. Yep,
that's a cool idea. Yeah,
that is interesting. We need to have a whole other show. That's for another show. We just talk about the weird little tricks and tools that are that you keep in your bag like that.
There you go. Yeah, that's a neat idea.
I've never thought of that before. That's great.
It makes sense. Though.
I've had so many people during my entire time of geocaching that just wants me in their tot bag.
Right. Carrying back. It's lonely in there. Once in a while they open up. And they go, wait, what? Oh no, just making sure you're still in there. No, we're not in a high terrain. No.
Those bolts would have been very handy.
Get back in there.
Doing Eric's Where I Go Geo Art out there. Those would have come in really handy.
Cool.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Just a quick shout out to Eric for his 2 geo arts. He's got the big pheasant where I go.
Awesome.
Someone I saw mentioned that you could see on the edge of the screen that you'd showed on my Fizzy that there were 5 where I goes. What if I told you there was 135 where I goes and not just 5?
Wow.
And they're fun too.
What if you knew
They're good.
there was 135 of them there?
Because I found them all.
That's awesome. That is
That was a very well done series too.
Yep. And then he's also got his happy trail over in Iowa. So you could come do 3 geo arts, get 300 plus caches. You'd get every DT. You'd get 100 plus where I goes, and you'd get two geo art states out of the way. Yeah, you'd kind of get a little bit of everything there.
While we're talking about caches to get up there, there's tons of caches. You can go up there with a crazy team all weekend for 4 days and not even scratch the surface. I know this for a fact.
I don't think
and my caches are all hidden on a different date.
See,
all 81 of those.
Yeah, that's a whole other way to do it too, is finding on find dates. But I don't think every state does it. Also, South Dakota has caches along the border. You can kind of
rings the border.
Get a really cool set of caches that are right on the border. That's neat.
Which brings up another good topic. Now is a perfect time to start planning those trips for the future.
Yes.
If you're in an area where you're not able to get out and go caching right now, get on and start planning. See what you can do. Just be building up your task sheet as soon as you get cut loose again.
So let's switch gears a little bit. Tell people about GC6 NJ Nature Jasmer 1B as in bison Shadow Mountain Sunken Treasure.
Yeah, Zach, tell us about it.
Tell us about
Which one's that one?
I don't know.
That's not his, Gary. That's mine from the notes.
Oh, that yours? Oh, yeah. There you go. Now there's.
I was just putting that in there. It's an example of one of the weirder type things. So it was a where I go that was you had to boat around a lake, and it was actually all the stages were out on the water, and then the cache was actually sunken. So it was down by chain, one of those waterproof boat containers, and it was underwater too. So that was a fun thing. It was kind of associated with an event down in Colorado, but
it's a neat idea.
Yeah, they're not always up a tree. Sometimes you actually have them where you have to, and you couldn't have swam. You couldn't have swam to all these locations. There's no way. I mean, it was a long way. So you had to have a boat, go out, go to all these locations. And because it was where I go, it did the area, the ding, got in the area, the proximity. And then you actually had to go underwater to get now it wasn't a scuba like that.
Just to dive down and come back up.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was one of those on my chain of lakes up by my cabin there. It was archived, unfortunately, but it was a multi-cache that took you to like four or five different locations. And they had these huge boulders painted gold, and they had the coordinates written on them.
Oh,
and
neat.
then you just followed those to get to the final underwater cache.
Nice.
But yeah, you had to take a jet ski in our case.
Very cool. Very cool. Is the next one yours too, Jesse?
Yeah, that was mine too. I was going to just bring up some of the examples like that. So this one, I believe, was a multi. I can't remember now, but it was a tree climb, typical tree climb like that. But there was 2 or 3 stages to it, I think. And that's one of those that they make fun. It's either this one or the one that this replaced was a multi. But every one of those was a tree climb where it was, good 30, 35 feet in the air. Cool. You get up there and there's a stage and you had to go to another tree. You could see you couldn't do anything unless you went in order. So they're going to give you the combination for the final one, which was also up in a tree. Those are a lot of fun, but you just don't see those very often out there.
Yeah, that's a unique idea that you've kind of have to do them in order. Have you guys ever found, I've heard these before, I think I mentioned it not too long ago, about doing a multi-cache in the tree where the stages are all in the same tree. You got to go up one side of the tree.
I haven't.
You haven't? It's a neat idea.
I could do one of those and call it Christmas decorating. And you go each ornament,
drunken ornament celebration or something, because you got to go out on each, go different limbs. I've heard of that. I would never do it because I think it's very cruel. But I mean, who knows? But I would hate to do one where you do a decoy, like, oh, I can see it. It's right there.
Yeah,
Climb up
I've
to
done
it and
that.
goes, sorry, you can't. That's not it. You're like, dang it.
Womp womp.
Yeah,
I like
I hit one of those. I got all kinds of hate mail. I hid one of those like
Yeah.
right beside the highway with one of those signs. It's like
Mhm.
20 feet tall. And
Right.
I hung a red bison off the top of it.
Right.
And but then it was actually hidden like under the cement block under the bottom of it.
Dang
People were
it.
so mad. They were getting ladders and everything else. I'm like, and I had a hint on the page. I was like, obviously that's not it.
Well, sure.
But people just assume that they know what they're doing. So skip that next one too.
Okay.
That's one of mine. We'll get back to later.
Okay. We
The
want to
next
go down
one-
to King's Rock.
King's Rock. That's Zach's.
Right. You want to do that one next?
Yeah, so there's in just northeast of Sioux Falls is Palisades State Park.
Okay.
And Eric and I were out. We had solved where I go. The GC code that's there is for a earth cache, I believe, called Quartzite Spires, I think.
Okay.
That's the location, so you can see it.
Oh, okay.
But
GC,
near those, so look, if you look at the pictures on those, you can see the huge pillars in the middle of the river.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That I was climbing. But it was a Where I Go final was out there.
Oh, okay.
And so we had solved this thing. It was lonely. Or no, not the final. To get the coordinates, you had to bring a phone up there and you had to reach out when you were on top, and you had to reach out over the water as far as you could just to get your phone to register.
Wow.
So that one was probably my most dangerous climb to date. Eric can attest to that. So
Not-
I get
Not that
we
GC,
get
but
to
that's
ground.
final. Just let people know. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
get to ground zero,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't have any tots with us, and we look, and suddenly there's a bunch of climbers that have their gear and their helmets and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and so they start climbing around us while we're trying to figure out if we have to go there, if we have to go around in the water or something. Finally, I'm like, I think can't go around it, can't go through it, gotta go over it. So
Wow.
we decide to just he would spot me, and I started climbing, and I get to this point, and I'm holding on as tight as I can, and I see my next grab, but it's just out of my reach, and so I have to take a leap of faith, and I'm already I'm dangling on the side there, and I'm already feeling my fingers slipping,
Oh my.
and my hands are a little sweaty, and they're sliding, and what I was on wasn't like a right angle like that. It was like something like that. So I'm sliding down, and so I know it's like, well, I gotta jump, because if I fall backwards, I'm gonna be like, where I'm landing isn't a place for your feet to land. You'd land on too jagged of stuff, and you'd fall backwards, probably break your back or something.
Right.
So I had like this clock going in my head that it's like, I see the grab, jump up, make the grab, and
Wow.
that was a much firmer hold. I was able to pull myself up there, and that just felt like I had gotten to the edge of my my arm's physical abilities to hold on to something.
Right.
And made it, climbed up, got the coordinates. The climb down was much easier, and just because I was fine with a different route that had like areas I could slide down and everything. But yeah, it was kind of tough,
Yeah. Well,
nerve-wracking to say the least.
That's a great story. Or, great moment there. So which one of you guys has the close calls and falls potential there?
I think that's Zach.
Raccoon snakes at Moga? Really? Seriously?
Yeah, so so that was probably my closest call on a fall. I think Eric can remember just how nerve-wracking that was. The raccoons on my Instagram, there's a funny one with me in a red shirt, and I'm like holding on but with one hand and dangling back, and my back is just out over the water or whatever. And I was doing that, and he snapped the picture, and right after he snapped the picture, I heard like right under my feet just this hissing, and I look down there, and there's just a nest of these baby raccoons, and I'm like, oh boy,
no.
Where's Mama? I better get rolling.
Mama coming for you.
Yep, and we've had other ones where we reach in to a knot in a tree or whatever, and there's a raccoon in there or something, and it's like, oh boy, let's get out of here quick. But the snake at Moga, so we were at Moga in Kansas, and Eric and I joined the team competition that we won.
The Moga Cup, where's the thing? Oh, you had to give it back.
It's long gone now.
Yeah,
but that was fun.
When Memphis won, and we won the 2-person then.
Oh
we took it to the restaurant just real fast, and we like you guys brought it in. We put it on the table, and I guarantee you, I kept looking at the wait staff, and they're like,
looking around like, ice cream out of that thing or something. Or we thought about it.
What's that?
We thought about eating ice cream out of that thing.
Yeah, well, we put food on top of it. I think you guys.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So we treated it a little bit like the Stanley Cup, but we had there was a lot of question marks over people's heads during that, but we had a great time. It was fun. It would treat it like the Stanley Cup. It was great, but
so during that race, they do the countdown, ready, set, go.
Right.
And I just took off sprinting. I wanted to be the first one to the cache because I didn't want to be waiting in a line.
Right.
I get to the first one, punch my card. Get to the second one, and then I had a little distance on people, punched my card. So then I'm going to the third one, and I'm like, all right, I got to run to this one, and then after that I should have, because it was a big open field then, and I'm like, I should be able to just kind of see how close the group are to me and kind of pace myself. So I get to the third one,
right,
and it's just on top of this hill. It's under a rock. I lift the rock
and
go to reach under. And all of a sudden, snake just slithers right off.
Oh my gosh!
And
get your start going. Oh my gosh!
And, my heart was just thumping, and I was going so quickly that it was doing that, but you can't stop and catch your breath either. So
yeah, you're trying to keep going.
Yep, and we ended up running and doing the whole route. A lot of people split up and did stuff, and Eric and I just stuck together and finished before everyone. Actually, I think we had 2 left, and we're in the middle of the woods climbing around, and we get to a cache, and suddenly my
Brian was asking.
No, Ryan, that was in the middle of there was it was on top of like a hill, but so we were going through the woods.
Blame Ryan for that one.
Yeah, just about done.
Just kidding.
We were going through the woods, get to like the second or third to last punch, and I reach in my pocket and our card's gone.
Oh no, I remember this. You dropped it.
Yeah, so I dropped it, and we had been just bushwhacking. And when you bushwhack, there's no trail to follow.
Nope.
You're just closing your eyes and sticking your head through brambles, and then you're opening your eyes on the other side of them.
Right.
So all of a sudden we're retracing our steps, and we don't even know where our steps were.
Right.
And we managed to find it, and the entire time, that's what I loved about Moga, was the entire time you're just assuming that there's people out there faster than you.
Yeah.
No matter how fast you are.
Even though you're fast. Yeah.
Yeah. And you could be, and then we ended up finishing, and Eric is like, "Oh, I'm so glad we're done. We're finished." And then we waited for 20 minutes or something until the next group came in, and he's like, "Really? We went you made me go that fast?"
That fast? Yeah. You didn't have to.
But you didn't know,
because
right?
you just assume you assume you're 30 seconds ahead, maybe, or a minute ahead,
right?
Or you assume that you made a less than ideal path to all of them. And when you finish, it's a great feeling. I mean, it's a great feeling to finish no matter what. So
yeah, those competition style events are great. They really are for people that like them, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's not a lot of them out there, but they're pretty fun.
Moga and Texas Challenge. I think there's a few others, but yeah, Texas Challenge added an individual one too, which is that's unique. I don't think all of them have individuals, So that's cool.
Zach, what is it about this type of caching that makes you like it so much? Because just like you mentioned earlier, you could go out and probably find 15 caches in the same amount of time that it takes you to climb one of these pillars, and it's a lot easier. What is it that draws you to this type of caching? This, I don't know what you call it, extreme, alternate, different ones, up a tree caching. What is it that draws you to that?
A death wish? No. No. Actually, it's kind of just the memory, the stories. I mean, are you going to have me on to talk about my 20 favorite LPC finds? Maybe for an April Fool's,
Right.
We could just have a really serious, detailed discussion about our favorite lamppost caches.
That would be a funny show for next year. If everybody forget that they just said that. We'll cut it out. Good thing you said
that.
But just straight-faced everything. No, but actually one I just thought of that we didn't put in here. So I don't know the GC code for it, but it's one on top of Half Dome in Yosemite.
Oh, cool.
And that's one where it was, the hike that we did was extra long and everything. And what our watches said when we were done with it, we had hiked 25 miles.
Wow.
And we were so close. I was like, could we just go one more mile so I can say I did a marathon for the first time in my life? Just like you put in all the effort just to finish at 25 and then go sit around the house all day. But that has all the elevation change and everything. Yeah. But if people want to look up Half Dome and the cables climb that you do there, you have to get a permit for it. When we went there, the week before we were there, 2 people had died on the cables climb. And it's when you're standing at the top looking down to where you're going to climb to, and it's like basically what you're climbing on is a countertop. I think it's granite face. It's a smooth granite, I think the way rock climbers describe it, we have the cables, which is what you can hold on to like a railing.
Yeah.
And you pull on them and keep your feet against the ground for some pressure, and then you climb up. And then you have, that's the only LPC I do.
Over the top.
When it's hidden in the light bulb at the top.
Some of those too,
but,
don't they, Zach, where you could clip in and go, right? If you wanted, if you had some sort of harness.
Yeah, so the cables are like you could, every post that you get to holding it, you could take your clip out, your carabiner off.
Right, but you could do that if you had to. If you were,
I didn't.
Right, but I mean,
because again, I'm not the one that you want to base your life decisions off of.
I'm just saying
but so we did, yeah. So we got the permit, we got the permission, we made the climb. But how rock climbers describe the Yosemite granite there is you're making climbs based on the edge of a dime is the cracks on that stuff. That's the friction you get.
That's insane.
And it's that between you and I can't remember exactly what the height is of that stretch from the shoulder there, but it's hundreds and hundreds of feet. And you get to the top and the view's unparalleled. It's amazing up there. And the geocache was, just another great addition to all that. It was an earth cache up there, but you get the memories, you get the view. I mean,
absolutely.
When I climb, the views that you can get in even random places in South Dakota, where all of a sudden you're in the top of a tree and it's like, well, this is taller than any building as far as the horizon goes. This is actually pretty cool. So
fourth guy just going, oh my gosh.
The safety inspector throwing us off the shelf.
Guy.
OSHA guy just
that's right.
That
taking a drink every time he's upset.
Yeah, really.
Those are where the best
drinking heavily, smoking real fast. Oh my gosh, I can't believe these people. That's something I think you guys have experienced this too. Just as a quick off topic, is that if folks have ever been to a national park and done a trail, I've done trails, which the average Joe could do, but even those, what we found was that we didn't see many people on the trails, and we're doing mile hikes, nothing, something I could handle.
Mhm.
But what's funny is our family, we'd start down a trail, and the kids and Susan would go up on some of the more moderate ones that back when I was even heavier than I am now. And I would go part of the way and, that kind of thing. But there's like nobody out there, and all the people, the park is like full of people. They're all, we called them the village people, because they were all in the Yosemite, Zach. If you recall, you drive through, you can drive through the village area, and there's people everywhere. And you're like, oh, great. This great place is packed. It's going to be a mess. And then we hit a trail, 2 people, or some of the more popular, so it's like, and there's nothing to see at Yosemite. Well, no, there really isn't anything to see in the village area in Yosemite. It's a low level area where people camp. And that's fine. That's what that's for. But you get out on a trail and you're like, oh my gosh, this place is awesome. And that's, I guess that's the experience that we've all had is, especially geocachers are used to this idea that regardless of your level, get out on a trail because that's where like you said, that's where the views are. That's where, of course, they probably have a lot of.
Absolutely. And honestly, if you basically, like, anytime you go to a park or something, if you just don't go on the top 3 trails, like, you're not going to be meeting anybody, which is so nice. You can just take the 4th best option, and suddenly you're seeing similar views, but, you might not get the iconic view that you always see pictures of.
Right.
But you get to enjoy all of it, just yourselves or your group or whoever it is, your family. And it's always amazing. And one thing I forgot about Half Dome was the cables is, it's the width of your shoulders. And it's not just you guys, it's everyone else that's going up, but it's also everyone else that's coming back down.
Awesome. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I'll just say real quick that, and something you two can speak to, I think, well, I've never done one, but I know you guys will speak to this because I think it's a neat idea, is to have an event that is, because we talked briefly about this too, Jesse, last week, I think, is that you can do a T5, Terrain 5 event, correct? Okay. I got that right, but it has to be a D1.
Right.
Because you can't.
They lock the difficulty in, but
it's grayed out.
You can't hide the event. But you can change the terrain based on whatever.
Change the terrain. Have you guys done a few of those?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I used to try to get events published at my house back when we could change the difficulty. I would just change the code on my door, and then they would have to figure out a puzzle ahead of time to get access.
That's awesome.
That's
and then to change terrains, I would have them come in through the basement window. No.
Right.
I tried to do that, but no. There's been island ones, or maybe I should host one up in a tree. Or underwater.
Yeah. I think
it's pretty common here in Colorado to have there's events on islands. Yeah. There's events at the top of mountains. They'll do them a lot of times at the summit. It's pretty common in Colorado to have a higher terrain event.
Yeah, there's Brainiac 03, by the way, saying if I hosted an event in a maze, would it still be a D1?
It would be. We've asked you about it.
Unfortunately, we want that changed.
Shout out to Brainiac, though. He's an Aussie of ours, friend of mine, from Reddit. Actually, I'm really active on Reddit, and he's the moderator of r/geocaching. And I just want to shout out the
awesome
geocaching subreddit.
That's awesome. How do we get to the subreddit for that one?
So if you go on Reddit, it's just r/geocaching.
Oh, okay.
That's how they do it. It's like a Facebook page.
Yeah.
You post your pictures there, etc. But how they do it is r/.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Lots of information there too.
Shout out to my picture game friends that are in there too, in the chat too.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, kayak on a lake. That's a neat idea.
Yep.
Thank you.
That was a good one.
Very cool.
You can do them on frozen lakes during the wintertime, if you can get your reviewer to pass it.
Now there's an interesting idea.
Yep.
Detail kayak event. Neat.
Mm-hmm.
Great idea.
So if people are physically capable, because obviously like people are different. Grand Lake, there's a camp out. I've been to that one. If people are physically capable, would you encourage them to try to get out, slow down, you maybe not get 100 tomorrow, and try to get out and try some of these different types of caches?
Absolutely, always.
What would be
they make for the best Instagram pictures?
That's true.
What would be some advice you'd give them if they're kind of worried about trying some of these for the first time?
Yeah.
I mean, just work your way up the terrain level would probably be the easiest. And if you want to make it worth your time, still do your standard sort by favorite points as well. But, take a look at the pictures ahead of time and see if there's ones that just have amazing views in your area. Otherwise, hide them too. Geocaching right now, I think just there's enough standard signpost cache out there. DNA, on a signpost. Cities and populated areas have enough of those already.
Sure.
So if I could do my little bit to encourage people, on the terrain side of things, hide one at the highest level you feel comfortable with.
Right.
And, that makes your area just a little bit better. And suddenly, I mean, you'd be surprised if there's 3 high terrain caches in one small town. You'd be surprised at the number of people that show up in that town over the next couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's a good
point.
And
there's a benefit of when they get done with that. Typically people, like I always ran into this when I was, just starting geocaching, is I would get a high terrain and I would always block off like an hour and a half of time to like drive out there, figure it out and do it. And inevitably it would take me 40 minutes of driving, finding, and then back in the car. And suddenly it's like, okay, well, what are the other nearest caches here? I'll just get those too.
That's good. That's true.
So,
well, and maybe also take a buddy, right? Have somebody, a spotter, get somebody that you trust that, that maybe is going to work through it with you and help you, kind of push the envelope further and further.
Absolutely.
Well, especially with T5s, you guys are familiar with, the fact that, it's probably a good idea to have somebody else with you just in case of some disaster. You've got somebody else there that maybe has their phone, could call if there was an issue. So yeah, that's something that I think if you do a terrain 5, even if you are in good shape and all that, it's probably not a good idea to do it by yourself. Probably want to bring somebody with you.
Somebody's got to call 911, right?
Exactly. Somebody's got to drag your lifeless body out of the ditch and call 911 to come get you.
Right. Do as Zach says, not as Zach does.
Probably
that's the important thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it sad if half the reason I had someone with me for a lot of these was just because I wanted someone to be able to hold the camera?
Right. Somebody to hold the camera. Absolutely. No, that's good.
Somebody needs to know how you disappeared.
Yeah. I've taken pictures of Jesse.
Absolutely. I think Eric gets a kick out of the crazy stuff, and he can show his friends and just shake his head when they're playing darts or whatever. Look what this idiot's doing again.
Yeah, no. Yeah. All right. So as we start to wrap up, I want you guys to each kind of go around. And then I've got a quick note on the shirt I'm wearing, which we'll talk about in a moment. But let's I'll leave that to the end. But I guess one of you guys start and kind of sort of wrap up your thoughts tonight.
I'll go so we can leave Zach for last.
All right.
He's the special guest on tonight, and he's part of the team anyway, but he's special guest for talking about crazy stuff because it's hard to beat what he does.
Right.
I would definitely encourage people to get out, push your comfort zone a little bit further each time.
Which one's Jesse?
Yeah, which one's the real one? I don't know.
Is that wait? Okay, no, I think this is the right one. Go ahead, Jesse. Sorry.
We kind of, the way we look at it is exactly what Zach said earlier. You don't really tell many stories about getting another Walmart LPC, although we all do it, right? Because if they're there, why not get them?
Right.
But I'm not going to park next to a lamppost and not pick up the cash.
Absolutely.
But you make the memories off the ones that are a little different, that take a little planning, that maybe get you a little bit scared or push your limits a little bit. One that I put in the notes, I put the GC in the notes somewhere, but one that is a fun one for us, and it kind of touches on a few things that we've done tonight, is both we hosted an event and went and found a cache that kind of ended up being a special one for us.
Right.
The day before I went in to get my hip surgeries done.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to do something, and I figured, it didn't really matter because I was getting a new hip the next day. So even if I broke it, it'd be okay. But we did cache at the Manitou Incline, which if you're in Colorado, you know what that is. It's basically a set of steps up a mountain.
Okay.
And it's just, you can't, you can see it for a long way, but when you get up close to it, it's hard to see. But we did an event at the top. And I almost got in trouble for it because I was trying to play on the name of getting hips, and I said, no, hippies allowed.
Oh.
We do that in Colorado, apparently. So
right.
that was the name of the event. But that cache and that event, leading into a time when I was going to be down for a long time after that, share that experience with a bunch of people. There's at least a dozen of us out there that day. I don't remember the exact number. But we got to the top, had a picnic. That one I'll remember for a long time. I bet I remember that one a lot longer than do the next 100 that I did after that. So I think Zach hit it perfect when he said, get out there and make some memories.
Yeah.
And not every cache doesn't have to be hanging off the side of a bridge like Zach does, right? But whatever the edge of your comfort zone is, go for some of those. Bring somebody along. Somebody's got to call 911. Bring somebody along and have some fun with it. And every once in a while, body identification. Yeah, exactly.
I go, yep, that's him.
Every once in a while, do those.
Well, that's what your tattoo's for, right?
Yeah, it's like he's trackable, so it's got to be him. There's not much left of the body, but the trackable made it. So
yeah, but those are the fun things. They can't be every single one. I get that, but just like you said, it's the memories that you're making. So I'm glad you brought that up tonight.
Yeah. Well, Zach, what are some final thoughts from you, my friend?
Well, I want to also make sure and shout out something we didn't talk about too much, but the terrain 5s that are water based.
Yeah, a little bit.
Kayaking. I know that's kind of growing in the geocaching community a lot. So if you're into that, you can get them fairly cheap. Just what a great way to just not just get caches, but to see your community or get out and about into some parks. But obviously it goes without saying, practice all the safety that you can, bring a buddy, more so to share in the experience too. But if more people were putting out hides that kind of went to the limit of their abilities, it might start a, little resurgence in your community for some fun terrain caches. Share those pictures, besides gadget caches and cool, unique places. Some of my favorite things to look at on Facebook or Instagram or on r/geocaching on Reddit is, all these climbing caches where people do some crazy climbs, and you'd be surprised at the size and or the age of some people getting way up in those trees.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We have
there's been some where I've seen where they're celebrating their 80th birthday with a T5 top of a tree climb.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
We have some elder statesmen in our little motley caching crew, and one of them sort of retired from the tree climbs, but he was up in age, still with us, but he has decided that that's a little bit for younger men, but he's like 70 something. So I guess it depends on if you're young at heart. And he did, like I say, did tree climb show recently, but yeah.
Yeah, I think the CDC also released that you can't get coronavirus if you're at the top of a tree.
Oh,
so I think that's official. Yep.
Check that out. CDC.gov/.com/tree. Yep.
That's right.
Tree.
Tree.
All right. Last thing real quick too is we got new shirts. So I will model it, or Jesse can show it.
Yeah, I'm wearing mine. You can model it this time.
Gadget Talk shirt. You can wear it like this.
There it is.
Face when you walk out. But we have Gadget Talk shirts for sale. We have partnered with a company to do basically our store from now on. So that's and if you go to Geocache, I'm going to bring it up. So I've got it instead of saying it. geocachetalk.com/store is now different. It now will link you to the new store and the new information. That shirt, by the way, again, provided by our new partners. And so I'll also bring it up and let people see it real quick because we're starting to wrap up. But Current Cuts Vinyl is the name of our new, I guess they're a new sponsor too. I put them in our sponsor list, but they're also going to be taking care of all that. We're going to be adding a lot of cool stuff to there. So definitely give that a good look at, and really looking forward to our partnership with them. They made the Gadget Talk shirts. And so really looking forward to, they're going to put a lot of cool stuff out. They're called Current Cuts Vinyl. We're going to put out some signs. We're going to put out some other cool stuff that you can do that they're going to provide, and shirts are available. So definitely buy them. Again, they're awesome. These are for the Gadget Talk, but they're again, neat shirts. Really, really happy with our new storefront with our new partners. So get out and get you a shirt. Patron them, as it were. Buy you a shirt. There'll be more as time goes on. It'll be provided along with, like I said, we're gonna have some signs and some other things. They're gonna be.
Oh yeah.
So
we'll get there. We'll get all that stuff eventually.
Yeah, really looking forward to that as we go along. So there you go. We'll do our outro. Oh, longer sleeve? Yeah, I think we can. I will find out about that. Good question.
And V-neck for those of us that have
Jesse wants the V-neck, so I think we're going to be. Yeah, I think there are going to be various designs. It's just sort of the beginning, but they're very much on board with various possibilities. If people are wanting something specific, if they want a certain color, we will be able to do some of that as time goes on. Yeah, we're really happy to get that. Yeah. So, all right, let me do our outro.
Are we gonna make geocache masks?
Yeah, really.
Geocache Talk masks.
There you go. Good idea. I like that. All right, here we go.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight, as well as our new format. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.
There we go. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Zach.